talk about filming yourself. Over the course of making this series, it's something I've had to think about quite a bit, starting with how, and with what, to hold the camera. So for that last shot, I was holding it with my hand, which works. It's quick, except my arm's in the shot. And in use, so not great for those times I might want to show the audience something I'm doing with my hands.
Which is something I was trying to do on that last shot, so I attached my camera to a mic stand with a telescopic boom arm. Good for the top-down view, for when I'm trying to show something on my desk, or talk to the audience from my bed, which is something you might need to do, but there are a lot of times where you won't. Like that last shot, which was simple and straight on, so I went for the classic tripod. It's steady and gets the job done, as long as you have enough space for the legs, solid ground on which they can stand, and you only have to reach a certain height. Which covers a lot of scenarios, but not all of them. So for that last shot, I used a strong clamp with an articulating arm. Oh. And I used a separate one for that shot. These have helped me place cameras and gear in spots I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. You can set them at a highly specific angle, and then tighten them so that they stay that way. But they do require something to clamp onto, which isn't always easy to find. And because they're so good at staying in place, they're not what I use when I'm trying to show the audience around. For that, there's this. This is what I call the Selfie Stick Studio. Let's take a tour. This is a work in progress, assembled piece by piece through trial, the thing is sagging, and error. The harness, intended for tiny action cameras, doesn't bear weight well. So I found lighter gear, swapping my regular camera for a simpler model that could still hold the decent lens, and swapping out my regular lens for an alternative that was much smaller in size, but wider in its field of view. We're gonna need some audio. What are we gonna do for audio? I found a lighter shotgun microphone and placed it as close to myself as I could. Generally a good practice when trying to record clear audio. Selfie Stick Studio. Sorry. And after finding a portable light that weighed less than half as much as my original, I decided to double up and found that spacing them apart evened out the illumination.
That's not so bad.
To hold them in place, I asked my neighbor for help drilling holes in an old curtain rod. This has proved to be a versatile rig. For the episode on drones, it allowed me to film myself from the front, talking directly to the camera, and from over my shoulder, as I explain the drone's controller. Throw a phone on the rig, and the versatility grows. An app called Double Take allows you to record yourself and your subject at the same time. So naturally I had to try it out in an interview setting.
What's the deal with microgreens?
In this case with D.L. Lewis, the head of the vegetable farm where I worked this summer.
They're packed with the nutrition of the seed.
Tell me about some of those nutrients.
So often they're high in vitamin A and C and K. This is some of our micro mix. These are nasturtium shoots. They can be a little spicy.
That one.
Yeah.
Couple kicks in there.
I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Can I have one more?
Yeah.
I had originally conceived of this rig as a means for journalists to tell their stories.
Would you ever consider wearing this?
I could definitely try, sure.
But what happens when we hand it over to the subjects of the stories we're telling?
Look at how long those roots are. They're grown in about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of soil.
When they can show us their world with their own hands.
Some mature pea shoots, young pea shoots, daikon radish, purple radish, and my favorite this year, some purple kohlrabi.
Again, this is all a work in progress.
It's definitely reminding me of being pregnant. There's a part of it.
Now I realize there are certain connotations to pointing a camera at yourself, especially if you do it like this. But learning how to film yourself, and to do so well, can unlock one of your greatest assets as a storyteller. You. And I think more journalists empowered to do so is a good thing. Engaging the audience with stories that matter. Speaking of engaging the audience,
Something I found to keep them engaged when filming yourself is to mix it up. Have a variety of shots, which can mean a variety of ways to hold the camera. Whether it's this way, this way, this way, this way, or this way. Alright, there's that way. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna try and get some sleep.